Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome back to my Publishers Best Of series where I take a look at various publishers in the board game industry and tell you my favorite games from those particular publishers. Today is CMON. Well, this has been a bit in coming. I know they are very popular. Some of my favorite games of all time are on this list because they tend to make games that I enjoy. I don't like everything they've done. And they also done a bunch of weird small games as time has gone by. Not all those made the list either. But there are some fantastic games. So I'm going to talk about my 10 favorite CMON games. CMON games are known for their miniatures much of the time, which is where their name came from. Cool Mini or Not was originally what they were called. Then CMON, then CMON, then CMON. It's confusing. Now we're calling them CMON. So here we go. My 10 favorite games from this company. Number 10. So this is the only game of this one on my list. This is their most famous, most popular, best-selling game as far as I know, is Zombicide. For me, my number 10 is Night of the Living Dead Zombicide. I've enjoyed most of the Zombicide. Zombicide 2, Zombicide Black Plague, Zombicide Green Horde, Zombicide in the space, but there's a Western one coming. But this one here, based on the classic movie, and I'm not a big horror movie fan, but I do like the original Night of the Living Dead. That's what this is based on. In fact, some people painted their miniatures in this game black and white, but it's better than just, to me, running around blowing zombies away. Here, there's actually, you feel the plot of the movie or where the movie could have gone. There's a palpable sense of, like dread and stuff, and I like all that. This is a really fun game. Night of the Living Dead, Zombicide. Number 9 is Gizmos, or as it's known, Gimmick. The gimmick here is dropping marbles into this machine and they roll out, and then you take these marbles and you use them to power your machine, your gizmo. That's what this is all about. It's an engine building game and you're playing different cards that will modify stats and things you have, collecting these marbles to build more. A lot of fun, very straightforward game. I haven't heard as much talk about it in recent years, but I know a lot of people still enjoy Gizmos. Number 8 is the most ugly game on this list, unfortunately, and that's Ethnos. Now, I do like Ethnos a lot. This is a game that's basically area control with fantasy creatures. You're collecting various creatures. Each game will use different creatures who, as you collect them and play sets of them, are going to play differently and do various special abilities. It does not look like much. When you see the pictures of the game, you're like, I don't know. But you know what it does do? Scales well. It's one of the few games that scale pretty high. I think you can play it with 6 even, or at least you definitely can play it with 5. Nice area control, back and forth, plays quickly. Love to see a second edition of Ethnos. Number 7 is Rum and Bones, 2nd edition. I never even heard of MOBA games, didn't know what they were when I first saw Rum and Bones. The idea of sending little twerps at your opponent and they just run across and die or eventually might get through and hurt your opponent seemed odd to me, but it's a very, very popular video game. Rum and Bones is based on that genre, but Rum and Bones 2 really brought out the best in this. You'll notice many times these second editions can do really well, and Rum and Bones 2 was very different, I thought. Brought in the heroes. You have 5 different heroes, all with special abilities, and they gave you a lot to pick from. Cool miniatures. It's a great 2-player game. Very piratey, fantasy pirate stuff, but I like it a lot. Rum and Bones 2. Number 6, I'll take some flack from some folks because this will be too low for them on my list. One of the most critically acclaimed games that CMON has produced, and that is Blood Rage. Blood Rage, of course, is just chock full of things I like. Control big monsters, check. Drafting, I like drafting cards, check. Card combat, really good card combat, check. And a cool theme with just this constant in-your-face interaction. No one's ever going to call Blood Rage solitaire. It's not. You are in each other's face the whole time, and it is just a lot of fun. It's really neat. Of the trilogy, it was the first, the Blood Rage Rising Sun Ankh trilogy, but it's number 6 on my 7 on my list because number 6 on my list, sorry, because number 5 is Rising Sun. Rising Sun I like a little bit better than Blood Rage. I like the theming better. The Asian themes with the Asian monsters, I like that. Really cool monsters, but I also like the combat system, an interesting Very layered combat where you are fighting or maybe pulling out of the fight or sending in more troops, but there's also cool special abilities, a bit of negotiation. I think this one plays 5 very well. The whole thing just, to me, is they're very different, Blood Rage and Rising Sun, but there's also a lot of similarities, but when I put them side by side, I tend to pick Rising Sun. Number 4 is Starcadia Quest. You could have put Arcadia Quest here. I didn't want to take up 2 slots on the list. Arcadia Quest is fantasy. Starcadia Quest is space. Starcadia Quest is basically Arcadia Quest 1.2. It's some small changes, but all the changes they made I like a lot, especially the plug and play nature. In fact, plug and play is a big deal for me. I love games where you can plug in villains and heroes and monsters, and in fact the top 4 games on the CMON's list all have that ability, which I like a lot. Starcadia Quest, you're going around fighting monsters, also more importantly hitting each other the whole time. It's silly, it's funny, cool special abilities, has a King of the Hill feel to it. Very, very enjoyable. Number 3 is the newest game on this list, and that is Massive Darkness, once again, 2nd edition. The first Massive Darkness is fine. I went through the rules, looked at it, watched some games I've played, didn't think it really stood out, but this 2nd edition really stands out. Sometimes I don't want to play a tactical necessarily a tactical dungeon crawl. I just want to kick the door in and roll dice, and this game lets me do that. But what makes Massive Darkness stand out here is that each character has a very unique way, not just special abilities, but how they play. You know, the ranger is pulling from a special arrow deck, almost playing a little side game of blackjack, and the rogue is pulling chits from a bag, and the paladin's picking areas on the board that have special powers, and it's so neat to have that. And then there's just loot everywhere. Really love this game. Massive Darkness, 2nd edition, my number 3. Number 2, a cooperative speed game called Project Elite. This, at one point in my time, has been my favorite game, and I do still love playing Project Elite, as you are playing some Space Marines fighting against a horde of aliens. It's timed, but only parts of the game are timed. You fight, you're furiously rolling dice, throwing miniatures off the board, then you pause, regroup, take some breaths, talk about strategy, get new weapons, and do it all again. If ever there was a game that feels like the climax of a movie, this is that. It is so entertaining and fun, and like I said, plug and play. Number 1, no, and this one is probably no surprise if you notice that I've made more videos on this game probably than any other game that exists, and that is Marvel United, or the newest spin-off of that, X-Men United. They're the same game. You can mix them together. I like this, and not just because it's superheroes. I do like superheroes for sure, but this is a cooperative game that you can adjust to be as easy as you want, as difficult as you want. It's so easy to play. You grab 2, 3, or 4 heroes, you grab a villain, throw them together, and play. It's all the main characters from the X-Men and the Avengers universes. There are some really interesting, unique villains like the Sinister Six, or the Sentinels, or Thanos, or the Phoenix Five, and so many heroes, so many combinations. But it's not difficult to teach, it's not difficult to play. It plays well solo, it plays well in the group, and I do like Marvel. This is a very Marvel-esque game that I find to be a lot of fun. But it's not just the Marvel theme. I like this system. If this system had other themes, I would enjoy it just as much. It's just neat, clean, fun, simple. So those are my favorite games from CMON. Some of you might have thought I should have more Zombicide, and why didn't I mention Ankh or many other games from CMON? Well, here's your chance. In the comments below, let me know what your favorite CMON game is. But these are my favorite 10. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.